the so-called black man must understand that the responsibilities on the leaders, right? The leaders is not there to protect the children of Israel. And when we talk about the children of Israel, we're talking about all blacks, all native Indians, and all Hispanics. Hey. You understand?
I.S.U.P.K.
They say they wanna hear that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move it coast shit. Cause if they make the wrong move, it coast shit. You see me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gon' stop it. They say they wanna hear that raw shit. Coming up on by the boat shit. They see me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my body, real niggas right beside me. Damn right.
Because two things the so-called black man must understand to have a tactical advantage in the war that we're in today. A lot of black people do understand that we're in a war. Is knowing who you is, knowing your identity as a so-called black man, that we are the real Jews according to the Bible. Right. And understanding also that the so-called white man is the devil or the deceiver that the Bible speaks of. Right. Wake up, so-called black man. When you understand the workings of the so-called white man, our oppressor, right? Salakia. This that was pushed on us from since in the time of our grandparents, right? Caesar Borgia, right? The son of Pope Alexander VI of Rome, a so-called white man that portrayed as Christ. We're going to understand the type of destruction that came to the so-called black man. Because now the doctrine that pushed on us, you know, the so-called black man of the so-called white man of are saying, he says shit does go downhill. But that is not the culture of the so-called black man. Right. That is what we must understand. Right. We are people that have laws that is going to show us how we need to operate, to have love for each other, to have integrity. We must understand this so-called black man. Now when I'm talking about this, watch, we had a situation not too long in Point 14, right? A little baby boy died, about 2 years, right? I believe his name was Amani, right? And when I looked on all the social media posts, all who believe they have a lot of intellect, the first thing that we start running to is to blame one another. And that is the design of the so-called white man. This is what we must understand. Because we know that when you have a little trend, anything can happen. As you turn your face 1 minute, is something in the mouth. They fall long. It actually fall. They fall on steel. You understand? Some children drunk. Some children choke. This is what we must understand. But because of the so-called white man, we're not putting the blame where it needs to be. Where was the barricades for this big old river that I had in Tishe? Where the community leaders, where the councillors to set the protection for the children within the neighborhood? Because as the officer Tazo was bringing out a while ago, which was so heavy, they're not investing in black people. We used to come in the towns and in the cities in Mario and the pizza boys and in the bank and invest in the Syrians and to invest in the East Indians and to invest in the Chinese. Wake up, so-called black man, and understand what's going on. Understand that this is a war that we're in. Let me go a little further to show you that, for example, the little youth man who walked down in the river, right? The kind of spirit that the white man poured on me, as Christ rightfully say, he say, you are of your father the devil. That's how the white man is operate. In the book of Luke, chapter 2 and verse 41. Because now, a lot of us is Catholics, and a lot of us is Christians, and a lot of us worship Mother Mary. Let me give you an example of what happened to Mary, but none of we didn't want to kill Mary. The way we wanted was to kill the boy mother and the neighbor that tried to help too. Read that scripture from Baba Kusha. Time for us to wake up, so-called black man.
The book of Luke, chapter 2 and verse 41. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of Passover.
Right, so now we're seeing where Christ's parents, they went to the Passover. That is a holy feast of all blacks, native Indians, and Hispanics. Right, so they went to the Passover. Read on.
And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the customs of the feast.
Right, so when Christ was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem. So everybody traveling from the zone where they're living, and they heading to Jerusalem in the Passover. Christ was 12 years old at that time. Read on.
And when they had fulfilled the days, as they returned, the child Jesus tarried behind in Jerusalem.
What he did?
Tarried behind in Jerusalem.
So now, after the Passover, Christ remained in Jerusalem. Right? Let me go a little lower down in the story.
And Joseph and his mother.
And who?
And Joseph.
And who?
And Joseph.
And who also?
And his mother.
Right, so his mother and his father also, right? Read on.
Knew it not of it.
The mother and father, Joseph's mother and father didn't know that Christ remained behind. We're talking about what the Christian church just called the Virgin Mary. So now she hold 12-year-old child missing and she didn't know. Right? Right? Neither she father. Read on.
But they, supposing him to have been in the company.
What I did?
Supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinfolk.
Right, so after a whole day that Christ's mother and father was journeying, they now realize, but wait now, where Christ? Right. Christ missing. Right. Wake up, so-called black man, because now we're going to go and show you how the white man mentality does affect us as a nation of people. Right. So Mary and Joseph travel a whole day, and they now realize, but wait now, Christ not by your uncle and he and them. Which part Christ is now they're asking the question, because now they're already gone a whole day away. Let me see what they do. Read on.
And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem.
What they did?
Turned back again to Jerusalem.
They tried to kill the rest of the family.
Turn back again to Jerusalem.
Run them out from where they're living.
Turn back again to Jerusalem.
Threaten to murder them.
Turn back again to Jerusalem.
You see what we had to do? Turn back. They had to turn back and go and look for the child. Right. This is what we must understand, so-called black man. These things happen. When we bring out these scriptures here, the youth man stray and he drunk. Lord forbid. That's not a nice thing for a parent. You feel any black, native Indian or Hispanic woman want to murder the child? Anytime that happens, there's a demon on them and we understand that. Right? The whole village come out and they want to kill another black woman. They want to kill another black man. This is the spirit that the so-called white man have put on us as a nation and as a race of people. Right. What about the other children in John and in Nelson Street, right? And we call the place again in the Congo. What about them who stray and get a head lick off? Right. What about them who stray and get a head lick off? In order to get a head lick off, because the so-called black man through different doctrines, different philosophies, and different ideologies are put on us, we hate one another. Right. This is what we must understand, so-called black man. But here we not holding accountable. Drop that scripture for me and give me the book of Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 10. This is who we not holding accountable, so-called black man, native Indian man and Hispanic man. We first must understand who he is. A special people. A different people. This is what we must understand. This is going to make us understand how we're supposed to operate, how we're supposed to live. And then try the white man card. Well, should just go downhill and blame the next man below you. Blame the next man with less power than you. Because you have no integrity to stand and defend your people. To stand and defend your nation. To stand and defend your God. Give me that scripture, Baba Kusha.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 56 and verse 10. His watchmen are blind.
Read that again.
His watchmen are blind.
This is what the scriptures are saying to the so-called black man. All our Christian leaders, they're supposed to be our watchmen. Our watchmen are blind. They are the ones that supposed to be watching out for the children in the ghetto. In Silox, in John, in Tiche, in Point Fortin, in the Congo. The pastors are supposed to be looking out for the children in every which way. And instead of look out for them, they molesting them. Infrastructure's not in place and be dying one by one in every which way. We selling drugs to one another. We sleeping with one another wife. We hating one another without cause. It's time for us to wake up, so-called black man, and understand the workings of the devil, the deceiver, the so-called white man. Read on.
His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant.
They are all what?
All ignorant.
When the scripture is talking about ignorance, your so-called black man, making you understand that your pastors have no knowledge. They don't understand how to run no community or no society. Because look at the communities now. Look at the ghettos. All your grandparents and your great-grandparents tithes, love gifts, and offerings going to the Christian church. But what's your condition, so-called black man? What's the condition that you in? Wake up and understand that we are in a war to gain this kingdom or to gain rulership of this planet again with righteous leadership. Read on.
They are all dumb dogs.
They are what?
All dumb dogs.
Read it again.
They are all dumb dogs.
The scriptures, the Most High Power is saying that your Christian pastor, they are all, not some, they are all dumb dogs.
Right.
When you hear things happen, where is the Christian pastors to come out and speak and fix the situation?
Right.
The youth man died, right? He drunk and he died, right? All these other youth men, they are gone down, they're in different zone. Where the Christian pastor to put the things and the structures in place to prevent this from continuing? Watching point 14. Everybody looking for work. Yeah, the so-called black man working for work, but according to my brethren, they ain't investing in the black community.
Right.
Where the hedges, where the infrastructure that now is being placed so that we will have Amani number 2. Where that? Wake up so-called black man and understand what is going on with us as a nation and as a race of people.
Right.
Because as something happens somewhere else, they're fixing it one time.
Right.
Your Christian pastor interested one time.
Right.
When the COVID hit, what they do in the black communities to help the so-called black man, to help the Native Indians, and to help the Hispanics survive? What they do for we? They do nothing for us as a race of people.
Right.
Everybody else secure. Everybody else had the stocks and the bonds and the investing still continuing.
Right.
But the so-called black man had to come out here and beat stone to make a living. So that's shut down. The stock market is shut down though. Investing in shut down. You understand? The rich keep getting richer. Your pastor still asking for your tithes slided below the door.
That's
Wake
right.
up so-called black man and do as the scripture says, separate yourself. Gather yourself together. All nation or all race not desired. Right? Read on.
They cannot bark.
They cannot do what?
They cannot bark.
Not they want to bark. When they have a Christian pastor, he can't bark. You know why he can't bark? Anytime he open his mouth and he says something to defend black people, that money done.
Right.
You see already sending all them we call it again like grant and all them nice writing thing to send up to get money from the government. That done.
Right.
Anytime they stand as at a fight to defend blacks, Native Indians, and Hispanics.
Right.
This is an easy thing for us to realize, so-called black man. This is the war we in. To keep us in the bottom and the other races to the top.
Right.
Don't walk about and sleep and pretend and afraid to face this reality.
Right.
When your children studying off the whole brain and they're crawling them day and night, they're passing our money, and when they look, they get a degree.
Right.
They get the job because was a circle of them come out from in the same college, they get the job first. And the so-called black man had to push to the end of the earth to make some kind of progress.
Right.
But if you come in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA, we're going to show you how to get it right. We're going to show you how to use these principles of warfare and rise above every other race on the face of the earth. Alright, read on.
Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber.
What are you doing?
Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber.
That is why they had all these millions of dollars in the bank. How much money it was? 30 million? $30 million he had in the bank. Lying down, loving himself, loving to slumber, having a time. You feel he give a damn? $30 million, rat eating it. You understand what I'm saying? And all the ghettos around the zone in mess and in turmoil. And they wondering, hey, where you get next meal from?
Right.
But he had $30 million hiding in a church. And all the members dancing on top of it and they don't know.
Right.
You understand? That is the hatred they have for black people. The reason why that money remain in the church is just to find a way how to slide that money into our account.
Right.
How to slide that money somewhere in India.
Right.
How to slide that money in some other place where they had a real house.
Right.
You understand? Where they had a real prostitutes to have a time.
Right.
Wake up, so-called black man. Okay, see, every Christian leader right now, one by one, coming into question. Is child molestation, is rape, is homosexuality, is every ungodly thing that the Most High tell them to teach to the earth, they're doing it for themselves.
Right.
The evil and the disgustingness of this society, the Christian church, and all the religion leaders, all the religious leaders, all in the imam, all in the Muslim temples, and we let you know it straight. You can know what they're doing? They're still selling one another drugs.
Right.
They still refuse to tell the people that, hey, here what's going on. This is not the way for the so-called black man, the Native Indian man, and Hispanic man to live.
Right.
Time for us to wake up, so-called black man. All Native Indians also and all Hispanics know that they're in a war. And know that we as men must rise up We must be taught in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA and get this right and take back this kingdom. That is what Christ came for.
Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord?